What's up? It's Ben with the Hookup Tackle. Today we are talking about Lucky Craft jerkbaits. I know what you're thinking. I'm sitting in the Megabass booth, and if we're talking about jerkbaits, why aren't we talking about Megabass, right? Now, it's hard when you're thinking about JDM jerkbaits to not initially just jump straight to the Edovision 110. But I got my start in jerkbait fishing throwing the Lucky Craft Pointer 100. And a lot of guys did as well. And Lucky Craft a lot of times gets overshadowed and people forget how good their jerkbaits are. So today we're gonna do a little mini deep dive through the lineup of Lucky Craft jerkbaits. We're gonna show you the breakdowns, when to use which one, so that you guys can become better informed anglers. So if you're ready, let's go. All right, so Lucky Craft jerkbaits. There's several options that they have in their lineup. And where most people start is the Lucky Craft Pointer Minnow. Now this bait has been around for some time. This was the first jerkbait that I ever really fell in love with. And it was the first jerkbait that I saw really made a difference and an impact and could out catch other jerkbaits. Inside the Pointer Minnow are various sizes. It comes in a 65 millimeter, a 78 millimeter, a 100 millimeter, 128, 158. So you could really fine tune the size to match the profile. The standouts in the lineup are certainly the Pointer 100, which has been a staple forever and I still use all the time. The reason that I use a Pointer 100 over something like, say, an Edovision 110 is it has a hardened bill and it's really loud. And this guy has amazing side-to-side, very aggressive action. There's still something about this bait that draws in strikes. I find that when it's windy, when there's a lot of underwater sound, so guys that are fishing smallmouth in the Great Lakes, for instance, where there's just tons of noise because the waves are just pushing so much water, Pointer 100 still destroys. The Pointer 100 is available in a regular size, which is what I throw probably 95% of the time, but it's also available in a DD version as well if you need to get a couple extra feet out of it. Now, if you need to upsize your presentation, you can, of course, jump to the 128 size or even the Ginormica 158 size if you really need a big profile. But the majority of time, if they're not eating the 100, then it's usually because it's too loud and too aggressive. And in those cases, I can drop down to the 78, which is the second best jerkbait in their lineup, in my opinion. So the 78 comes in a regular and a DD size. Now for me, I throw the Pointer 100 and then I throw the 78 DD. This guy gets down about 6 or 7 feet, so it's not really that deep. But what's nice about the 78 is that it doesn't have any internal rattles. So as you twitch it, it's gonna have a much quieter, more silent movement to it. And I just find that it gets down into the right depth. If you guys are fishing over a lot of grass or weed beds and depth control is really important, then you could throw the regular 78 and you'll probably have better success with it. But if you're fishing more open water like we have out here, I find that between the straight up Pointer 100 and then the 78 DD, you can pretty much cover all the zones and you're in the sweet spot for getting the bites. Now, in Japan, they refer to the Pointer Minnow as a bee freeze. So if you visit thehookuptackle.com or if you're surfing some of the Japanese tackle sites, you will see, you won't even find Pointer Minnow mentioned in Japan. It's called a bee freeze. It's the same thing. This is just the Japanese name for it. And in the US, it's called the Pointer, okay? The only other really important one to point out in their lineup, in the Pointer lineup, is in the 65 size, which is a nice little finessey dude. This is very popular for smallmouth, trout, anytime you really need to downsize. They also make one called the BTS, and that's for bottom ticking. You'll notice it has this little tungsten ball on the lip. And this dude is designed to really drag and crank on the bottom to have that kind of stand-up look. So in a lot of places, you know, fish aren't really open water like shad. They're more things like goby or, you know, maybe gizzard shad or panfish or tilapia, things where the fish are actually feeding and sifting on the bottom, and that's what the BTS is designed to imitate. So if you're looking for a jerkbait that you could really bang around the rocks, that B-Freeze 65 BTS is a great one. Okay, moving on in the lineup. The next bait that was introduced to us years ago was the Slender Pointer. Now, the Slender Pointer has become a favorite for a lot of guys, but the challenge has become over the years is finding the colors that we all got used to throwing. Lucky Craft kind of let this guy slip out of their lineup for a little bit, but now it's starting to come back in. The Slender Pointer is a 3-hook thinner version of the pointer minnow, and it has a much more aggressive action in shallower water. So again, for me, if I'm fishing over weeds or grass or shallow cover, the Slender Pointer is a much better option. And because it has 3 hooks, if you're getting a lot of fish that are just slashing or slicing and not really committing to it, you've got 3 extra hooks to possibly hook them and improve your land ratio. Next in the lineup is a very similar jerkbait to the Slender, and this is one of their newer additions, and this is called the Lightning Pointer 110. Okay? Now, the Lightning Pointer has a slightly different shape to the Slender Pointer, but it's a very similar type bait to where it's really best over grass, shallow cover when you need the bait to stay high in the column. What I find is that the Lightning Pointer 110 has a very similar type action to an Etovision 110. And I find that it works best in open water when you need the bait to stay real high. And then the Slender Pointer is best when you need to work it over grass and weed beds and you need to stay real high. So even though they're very similar, they do have 2 different actions, and it's important to try them both for yourself and see what you like. Now, the other thing that may be a deciding factor for you is up to now, everything I've shown you has been in that $14.99 to $18.99 price point, typical Lucky Craft pricing. The Lightning Pointer is at $9.99. So they wanted to develop a jerkbait that was affordable for all anglers and still deliver that Japan-made quality that Lucky Craft is famous for. So definitely one that's worth checking out. All right, a couple more to show you. One that's been in the lineup for a very long time. This is the Stacy 90. Now the Stacy 90 is a big lipped jerkbait. It's been around for ages. A lot of guys love this bait. For me, this is more of like a finely tuned shad wrap type style bait. You can certainly throw it out there and jerk it and twitch it, but where this bait is very effective is on a sweep. So when the water is very cold and the fish are suspended on bluff walls or in deeper water, you can take this bait and instead of giving it sharp twitches, you can really just sweep your rod tip so this bait kind of moves and then suspends. And it's that kind of move and suspend and stay in place action that is deadly with the Stacy. So next time you guys find yourself with like sub 50-degree temperatures and the fish are in a zone where you know they should be eating a jerkbait, but they're not quite committing to that twitch of a pointer 100 or a 110, give the Stacy a shot. It's just gonna give you a little bit different action and still get down into the depths for you. Finally, in their lineup is another relatively new jerkbait in their arsenal, and this is called the Flash Pointer. Now, a Flash Pointer is available in a 100 size and a 115 size, and I know what you're thinking. It looks very similar to some of their other ones that we just talked about, like the Slender Pointer and the Lightning Pointer. This is very notorious Lucky Craft, where they put so many things out and it just starts getting confusing, right? The Flash Pointer is got a totally different shape to it. You notice it's very thick on the head and thin on the belly. And this dude is literally designed to flash. And when a bait flashes, it basically just flashes from the top to the bottom to show the full profile of the bait. So it has less aggressive side to side motion and more just top to bottom motion. Some guys really enjoy this one. It's not really one of my favorites in the lineup. For me, if I'm looking for more of a thin profile, I'm usually staying in that Lightning Pointer or the Slender Pointer. For me, it accomplishes everything I need. But if profile and just a different look is important to you, then that Flash Pointer may be important. So again, just to break it down, everyday, day-to-day use, you don't know where to start, you're just going out there, If it's got some noise to the water, you got a little chop, you got a little wind, I love the Pointer 100. If it's really calm, if it's really still, and you need something a little bit finessier, then I like the Pointer 78 DD. If you want a bait that's still aggressive, that you're fishing in higher in the column over shallower water, that's when I generally go to the Lightning Pointer 110. If you're fishing weed beds, you're fishing grass, if you're really trying to tick vegetation cover, the Slender Pointer, either in the 97 or the 112, or even the 127 size if you need something really big. And then if you're fishing open water for suspended fish that you really just need a different look, the Stacy 90. All right guys, so that's a wrap on some of my favorite jerkbaits. These are 100% made in Japan. So this is a true JDM jerkbait at very affordable pricing. So I know you guys are gonna enjoy the lineup. I hope it was informative. If you have any questions, just leave me a comment down below. If you're interested in checking out any of the Lucky Craft products, we're gonna leave links to everything we spoke about down below in the description. So until next time, peace.